And then they would talk about the final stage of blaming. You're going backwards. You're trying to do the same things. Your mind is positive. You're positive at it. You're working through things. You're trying to do the best you can, but you have these excuses now, and it's really somebody else's fault. I'm really upset with the company, and there's something happening in the marketplace that isn't right, and there's all these other elements that are the reason that I'm not achieving or succeeding when that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm still thinking about in my mind. And it's easy to kind of go down that track and go through those stages. And you find yourself on an island. And you find yourself quite a ways away from the building stage that got you to where you wanted to be in the first place. Back to stage one. There's a couple things that they would do that I want to talk about. They always would go back to stage one. They never said, "I told you so." When something would happen at the company, when something would go wrong and they weren't achieving what they wanted to do, they never turned on each other. They wouldn't say, "Jay, what did you do?" Or "Rich, what did you do? You made that decision and it went wrong." They never let anything disrupt their partnership. They always stayed together. Right? They're their customers. They forgot to be in the build stage. They moved so far beyond. They went so far through the cycle. They were in the blame stage all the time, and the business was lost. Jay handed the book out to all of us. He said, "You read it. Don't ever lose track of what's important in the Amway business. Stay with the customers. Stay with the ABO. Stay focused on the people who are doing the business all the time. That's where you need to stay focused. Stay in stage one." And there was one market that had a really good opportunity, but it didn't seem like the right time. So we took it off the launch schedule. And the next meeting that we had, Jay said, "What are you going to do in that market?" And we said, "Well, the timing's not right. We're going to push it out a few more years, and then maybe then we'll approach it." And then we had another meeting, and Jay said, "What are you going to do with that market?" And then we said, "Well, still not right. We're going to push it out a little bit forward. We'll figure it out in a little while." The third time Jay asked, we got it right. Jay said, "What are you going to do with that market?" We said, "We're going to put it on the launch schedule." You're right? We weren't dumb enough to keep pushing it out anymore. Why would he say that? Because he wanted to drive us into stage one. He wanted to make sure, even though there were challenges, and maybe it wasn't going to be the right time, but he wanted to challenge us to make sure we were looking forward and we were up to the challenge to work through whatever the issues may be. Because there was potential there. There were people there. And the Amway business could help people. And we needed to be there. And we couldn't delay it just because it was convenient or easy for us. We needed to think about that market and the people that were there. Another time you're always thinking about Amway. And he goes, no, I'm thinking about the next 50 years at Amway. Right? Thinking about that. And I said, "Dad, you don't have to think about the next 50 years at Amway. You're 90 years old, right?" Well, he let that comment go pretty quickly. He goes, "I'm always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about the future. That's what I do. And that's what we need to do. We need to have ourselves in that mindset." So I want to ask you a question. As you go through those stages and as you see those kind of outlined a little bit, I bet you can find yourself Or at least a point in time in your history where you were in one of those stages. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe you're in a stage that you don't want to be in, but you're there. And if you're honest with yourself, you may say, yeah, I'm not really in stage 1 right now. I think I'm in stage 1. I know I want to be in stage 1. I know I want to get back to that building stage, but boy, I haven't been there. I'm not doing the things that I know I need to do right now. I'm not leading the group in the way that I know I need to lead it right now. And there's going to be lots of reasons for that. Executive of the company, and the former chief executive says, I put 3 envelopes in your desk. So if things start to go wrong, go to those envelopes and open the first one and go from there, and then it'll help you. Well, this person had done a great job, and the business was going great, but then it kind of hit some tough times, and the business started going a little poorly. And he goes, boy, I might need some help. So he reached down in the envelope, and it said, blame the economy. So he went out there and he blamed the economy. The economy is this. We got this problems going on in the marketplace. These are the things that are wrong. These are the things that are going on. So he blamed the economy. Still didn't help. Business was still struggling. So he desperately reached for the second note. Second note said, blame your predecessor. So he goes, not only the economy's bad, but I got to tell you, the people that went before me, the leaders before me, they did everything wrong. They put us in a bad position, and we're really struggling to kind of find our way through, and he kept beating that drum. But the business didn't improve. Finally, out of desperation, he went to the third envelope and he opened it up. And in there, the note simply said, prepare 3 envelopes. Because you're going to be gone. And it's time for somebody else. In the Amway business, we don't want anybody gone. You're here. You built this business. You brought us to where we need you desperately. It may be, and we're going to keep being successful. And I can't wait for the next 50 years to be part of this business, to be part of this future with all of you. Thank you, everybody.
Let's do this! Round of applause. So now, please